Okay, good day. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I am currently working on a project aimed at improving rabbit farm management process. This discussion will help me understand your current workflow, challenges, and expectations. Your responses will only be used for academic and project purposes. Now, Stanley, I'm speaking with you. Speaking with you is Adele Philip. Please, may I know you, sir?
My name is Oluwapelumi Andresela. I am a pharmacist and also the founder of Omo Esela Rabbit and Harvest.
Okay, thank you. Nice meeting you, sir. Please,
Same here.
can you briefly describe your role and daily responsibilities on the farm?
Well, I currently manage the farm, so most of what I do is on the managerial level. Couple of years ago, I used to have hands-on experience on the farm before the farm grew beyond what I could do myself. So I manage the daily operations of the farm, supervising feeding, monitoring the health of the rabbits, ensuring that we are hitting our goals because we have certain goals for the farm. Also, I manage the staff, ensuring that they are doing what they are supposed to do.
Okay, thank you for the detailed response. Yes, how long have you been managing rabbit production? For how long now?
Um, the management aspect started 2022, but I've been a rabbit farmer since 2016.
Wow, great, thank you. Um, Now moving on to the main core questions. Can you walk me through how you currently manage breeding, feeding, and sales records step by step? Like how do you manage? How do you manage? How do you walk through? How do you currently manage breeding, feeding, the breeding aspect and the feeding aspect, and sales records step by step? We are going somewhere.
So the first step is to identify uh, the rabbits that are breeding standard or breeding quality. So when we identify them, we arrange them in a particular section of the cage, and then we ensure that we note it down in our farm record book. So we do that manually. But in recent years, I started using online platform to also do that. So the farm attendant on the farm use the notebook. Why, whenever I come around, I transfer it to the Google Sheet. So we note down the date they are mated, note down the exact buck, that's the male rabbit that crossed them, and then we follow them all through from beginning to they give birth to the win. We ensure that we don't joke with the dates, because the dates are very important in their recording.
Thank you so much, Mr. Belumi. What tools or methods do you use? You have explained well on how you manage the breeding, feeding, and sales records step by step. Now, what are the tools or methods you use, you implement while
Like
observing
I
this method?
like I mentioned earlier, we use notebook. So the farm attendant on the farm, they use notebook. They use their pen. While when I come, we transfer the information to Google Sheet, just like a spreadsheet, so that it can give us a continuous overview of what is happening. And peradventure, we misplace the notebook. The Google Sheet is always in the cloud for us to retrieve anytime we need it.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, is there any challenges? Is there any challenges or difficulties that you have experienced that has caused delays for you during the method?
So the whole process became challenging when the farm expanded. Keeping record about five rabbits was no much a problem. But the moment you start having up to 50, 60, 100 rabbits became problematic. Another problem is the frequent sales. Before now, the sales were very poor, but now sales has increased. So there were a lot of problem with keeping up with the record. We buy in some rabbit today, we enter into the record, and before the next couple of days, they are out of the farm again. So the process of cleaning and writing created a lot of headache. Proper recording was effective when the rabbits spent a long time on the farm. So it was very difficult. There are sometimes that some people even demand for pregnant rabbits. So a rabbit that we're already tracking their breeding cycle, a problem arises when we need to sell such rabbits. Because that will be the end of the record of such rabbits. Also, another challenge is when there's mortality and the farm attendant does not give an update on that as at when due. So such information, when not recorded in due time, becomes problem when trying to balance the physical record and what is reality on the farm.
Hmm. Thank you so much for stating out the limitations in the method you have been applying. So, are there times when records are inaccurate or hard to find?
Definitely, there are a lot of times where records were inaccurate or hard to find. And that was why I said we would usually bring in Google Sheets to avoid loss of records. So that's the solution we prefer to loss of records. But in the problem of inaccuracy, usually the problem of inaccuracy would occur from farm attendants that are probably illiterate or semi-literate. So probably don't understand the message passed across to them. Probably they don't know the breed of these rabbits. So it is when they understand or when they know the breed of a particular rabbit, they can properly describe the kind of rabbit they are putting in the record. So usually, poor technical know-how is a major factor that causes inaccuracy in recording.
Thank you so much. Now, okay, speaking from the angle of a farm attendant, approximately how much time do you think a farm attendant can spend daily or weekly managing records of a good standard rabbit farm?
Well, based on what I've observed, if the record is done on a daily basis, then it would usually take roughly around 1 hour, at least based on the size of my own farm. The size of the farm currently is about 100 rabbits between because we sell and buy, so we usually have around between 60 and 100 rabbits. So to keep record for that usually take average of about 1 hour daily. But there are moments when we probably for whatever reason we do not do it daily. If we do it at the end of the week, it takes us more time.
Okay, thank you. Which part of the process takes the most time?
Well, the part of the process that takes most time is the process of scaling them. When you have to scale so as to record their weight, especially when we are trying to track their growth rate. So the part that takes time is removing them from the cage, dropping them on the scale, and then putting them back. That's the part that take most of our time.
Okay. Okay. If I may ask, the other aspect, maybe the breeding aspect. Are you with me, sir?
Please come again.
I said, if I may ask, because the other aspect, like breeding aspect, when you want to breed the rabbits, you want to mate the rabbit, or maybe taking care of the baby rabbits, like that are still very young. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Okay, are you with me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry about that.
All right, sir. So I'm asking. I said you said weighing the rabbit can actually take much time. So I'm trying to say, do you mean that weighing the rabbit compared with mating the rabbit and maybe taking care of the babies does not take much time than weighing the rabbits?
Well, so the reason why I said weighing the rabbit takes a lot of time is that anytime we want to weigh, take their weight, we would usually weigh all the rabbits on the farm because we want to track their growth. But when it comes to breeding, breeding activities are usually per set of rabbit basis. We would usually not need to mate all the rabbit on the farm at the same time. So they are usually scheduled dates. Okay, so today we can say we want to mate 4 rabbits. The next tomorrow we want to weigh 6 rabbits. So it's usually on a schedule basis. So that's why it doesn't really take time.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. From the information you've provided, you said before it was notebook and pen, and now you have a Google Sheet. You use Google Sheets to keep records. Now, have you ever tried any methods to improve the current system? Aside, because I believe Google Sheet also will have its own limitations and a pitfall. So I'm asking, have you ever tried any other method, or you are here to discover any other method?
Well, late last year, a fellow farmer approached me and we are discussing about some innovation we can bring into the rabbit industry. He is a tech person. He designed website and all. So he was trying to build a website where farmer can accurately take record of their farm. And I think things like that are ways to improve recording.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, is that okay? That will make me ask: is there any challenges you are facing currently with the method you are using at the moment? I'm talking about the Google Sheet.
Yes, the challenge I'm facing is the fact that number one, it is cumbersome. Using a spreadsheet to record 100 rabbits and then you want to follow them to detail, usually cumbersome. Number two, it relies largely on human input. So it is what the information they give you that you put there. So if there is an error in the information that is given to you, then the whole thing becomes messy. Another challenge is the fact that there are moments when I have desired recording the picture of the rabbit because there are times people ask, "Do you have this rabbit? Do you have this?" Instead of having to go to the farm physically to get the picture, I desire a situation whereby I can just get the picture of the rabbit from my record system. I've tried using the Google Sheet for that. It's kind of stressful.
Okay, thank you so much. Who, with all of these limitations, who else is affected when these challenges occur? I mean, workers, maybe the workers or customers, does this limitation affect them aside you, the manager? Is there any other people that it affects?
It affects everybody. It affects the farm attendants because sometimes they didn't do it unintentionally, or what is the better English to use? They do not. There are some mistakes that are made out of pure human error. So it affects them situation whereby they enter something and then it's there's a discrepancy. It affects their integrity because by the time you start doubting, well, you enter this thing, so where is the rabbit? So it affects their integrity. Number two, it affects the manager because of the headache. So we will later recorded that there's a rabbit here, and later on we saw that there's no longer rabbit, or the attendant says the rabbit is a particular breed, and then we later discover that it is not the breed. It affects the manager that way. Then it even affects the customer too. It affects the customer too because number one, there could be a misinformation. So imagine if a manager responds to a customer by checking the record. So let's take it practically. A customer asks me, "Do I have winners?" You get,
Yes.
and then I check my record and I see that I have winners. And let's say the record was updated poorly. I say I have 10 winners. And then by the time we go to the farm physically, we discover that all we have is just 5 winners. Now the customer had been waiting for a quite number of times. So that also affects the level of trust the customer would have in the brand.
Thank you, Mr. Bolumi. Now, we believe that there are many images we can build in our head, but bringing it down can be a very big deal for us to do, can be an issue for us to do. So, if you could have a perfect system, like a perfect solution, like if this thing can happen, we take this and do this together, this should solve this problem. If we can see someone that can create something like this. So if you could have a perfect system, what would it look like?
If I can have a perfect system, the first thing I'll be looking at is a system that, number one, is user friendly, whether illiterate or not illiterate, they must be able to use it. So easy to use data system would come to mind. So that farm attendants that are not really literate, they can also use it. Number two, they must be able to achieve the purpose, and the purpose includes ability to track breeding schedules, ability to take inventory of the rabbits, help us to record the amount of feed we are using daily. So this is how we can calculate whether we are making profit or loss. Then also maybe have an interface where the customers can see what we have on the farm so as to reduce the time we spend attending to the customer.
Okay, thank you. Are there aspects of your current system you would like to keep? Maybe the old method you have been using, that even though there is a new method, you still want that features in your old methods to reflect on your new methods.
I think the most important features for me, because I'm gradually moving from solely being a farmer to also being a customer oriented person. So the most important features for me would be a situation whereby the customer can easily have access to the details of what I have on farm.
Hmm. Okay, thank you so much. What concerns would you have about switching to a digital system? What is the concern? What is that concern that is going to be lingering in your mind about switching to is there anything, is there any constraints for switching to a
Well,
digital system?
of course, nothing good comes cheap. So I would be concerned about what it would cost. Um, I would also be concerned about what if. So, for instance, look at the case of the website I was talking about. What if, for whatever reason, the website crash and all my data is lost? So those are the concerns. Um, Also, internet access. Talking about, um, imagine having a farm attendant that does not have access to
Hmm.
data. How will person be able to keep records in digital form? So those are the concerns.
Okay, so thank you. Your information are really shaping my decision. And what would make you trust and adopt a new solution? Let's say um, this question is of two faces. We have in African mentality. Wherever there is a old method, we are always stuck with an old method. We don't want to, even if the new method is really and really productive and more effective and easier to use. But so far that we have a old method, we always find it very hard to switch. We always, maybe this can happen through the fear of unknown or any other thing. So, how do you think we can address something like that? Maybe we are able to create or consider those people adding the features that can really make them or compel them to be introduced to them.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is cost. If you are introducing something new, the very first thing any business oriented person is going to be looking at is what will it cost me? The other flip to cost is we now start talking about effectiveness. And then we say, is it cost effective? So okay, if it is effective and it's going to cost me a little more, okay, maybe I can still go for it. But if it's going to cost me more, but it will not be effective compared to the old one, then there'll be no point. The other one is, will it make my life easier? I don't want to use, like I said, using the Google Sheet, for instance, is School Master. So if I'm going to use any other system, then it should be user friendly. I should not have to be straining my eye trying to trace one line, be scared that if I mistakenly do this, it become difficult to correct and things like that. So there must be clear benefits in terms of cost effectiveness, in terms of improved accuracy, in terms of saving time. So it must also be reliable. And then whatsoever is bringing the system, in fact, if it is user friendly, you might not even need any serious training support. But then, if there will be a training support, then that would be fantastic.
Thank you. Um, would you like customers to place orders online in the future?
Of course, that is one of the things I've earlier mentioned. Especially by customers can have access to what I have to reduce that burden of asking me, do you have this, do I have that? Customer can access what I have directly, just like all these online stores. All these online retail stores, they've done it so well that in real time, what they have in store is also what is displayed online in terms of quantity, in terms of details, and also once you look at their store, you know what they have. There's no stress of, do you have this, do you have that, what's the price, what's this. So if the customer can have access to what I have and just tell me that yes, this is what I want, and that's it. It will be very good.
Thank you. Thank you for the detailed information. Okay. Now, what is the single biggest improvement you hope technology can bring to your farm?
Well, you see what I've mentioned. Customer having access
Okay.
to what I have,
Yes.
and in fact, an advanced version of that I've thought of is this. Imagine a platform like Amazon. What Amazon does is very simple. Bring different sellers, connect them to different customers. The same thing with Jumia. Yet, so the biggest invention we can have in any industry is where farmers can easily get connected to customers. And the good thing about this system is that it can also help regulate the problem of fraud or scammers. You get,
Mm.
because I mean, you get
Yes.
websites, there's some level of verification and validation that must have been done. So it's also improved the trust in the business or in the farm.
Yes. Okay. Now, I want to ask concerning the manual way of identifying the rabbit. There are various ways of identifying the rabbit because we know that rabbits generally rabbit looks alike because we have rabbits of the same color, of the same size, and sometimes not looking at rabbits, you might not be able to identify if this is the rabbit that I mated yesterday or not. With the current method, how are you able to identify your rabbits even though they have the same features in terms of color, in terms of look, shape of head? How would you identify your rabbit?
Well, I think the most healthy way to identify rabbits is to separate them in cages. Try to keep one rabbit per cage. I know some rabbit farmer would use tags, maybe tag their ear. Some people will
Do you
use
support
paints
that?
and all, but I said some rabbit farmers would use tag, ear tag.
Because I know
Some
that
people use
using ear tags comes with piercing.
exactly. So that's why I said I feel the most healthy form is to separate them
Mm,
into cages and label the cages.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, in terms of sales recording, do you think there is a better way the sales recording can be improved? Now, a customer came to your farm, you are not around, meet your sales attendant. Now, there's a transaction between your sales attendant and your sales attendant and the customer. Now, how can you be assured and be safe from infidelity? And how can you track the transaction for you to have a clear and then trustworthy the truth of the matter, the truth of the transaction? Is there any way you can track it?
Well, at that point, number one, that's why you have to, in a way, trust and hope that your farm attendants would be honest. Number two, you might ask for, number one, they should give a record of the location where the rabbit is being selected. Number three, you can request for the video of the rabbit to be taken. Uh, yeah, I think those are some of the ways you can ensure that. But if one can have a digital system would also help someone in the sense that if the rabbit is sold out online, there can be a back end form whereby the record is automatically noted that so and so rabbit was sold out. And then when you visit the farm physically, then you can correlate such record.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Now, this will bring us to the end of the interview. One last question. Can you, for a farmer, current farmer that is struggling with the sales recording, the tracking of the breeding stocks, and the likes, is there any method, okay, regarding your method, the method you are using, is there a way you can advise, maybe in a very short way, you can advise the customer to use, the farmer to use, sorry, because I need traction.
Like if I want to, are you saying that if I want to, so
Sir, I can't hear you. What do you say, sir?
I didn't get your question. I
Okay,
didn't
my
get your
question
question.
is, can you explain the method you are using, like explaining to the farmer that is having issues in tracking the records and the breeding record generally, and even the sales of his rabbit, of their rabbit now. Can you explain? You made mention of Google Sheets,
Okay,
other
so the
methods
first
like
step
that.
is to create different segments on the farm. Create a segment for winners, create a segment for breeding those, create a segment for meat rabbits, create a segment for growers, let's say 1.5 to 1.9. Now, the beauty about creating segments is that it ensures there's clarity in your record, because if you keep your rabbits randomly, imagine there's a breeding doe in this room, and then the next room there's winner, and then the next room there's meat rabbit, then it makes your work cumbersome. So if there can be segment that, okay, this line is for winners, the next cage is for so and so rabbit. The second step is have a clear representation of each cage. So you can say
Hmm. Thank you so very much, Mr. Polumi. Thank you for your time and thank you for your knowledge you have shared. And I believe that it will really help me and then everyone listening to adjust in any area and to be able to build on something better, coming up with something better. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good bed rest. Thank you.